All right, what's going on? Yes, sure. You don't stop. Big John come rocking the short shot fastest freaking show in MLB absolutely anywhere. It's freaking Corked stats, baby. We are going to be doing a little dinger draft today. We are queued up and filled, getting ready to kick this bad bitch off. In the next few seconds, I'm your host, John Legeza, Flow Sharpening a Razor. Laghezza, that's the handle right down there. Follow me up on Twitter, streamline you to all the work. Link in bio with the nudes, send you over to Substack, where $2 a week gets you 5 pounds of shit in a 2-pound box. Find out what all the damn hubbub is about. All the fantasy stuff and things you could possibly deal with. Tiered rankings. I'll be showing off some of them on the video tool as we go. Maybe at the end I'll swing through the tools for anybody that actually hung through. Now, one of the things that you get when you sign up would be Underdog Best Ball Rankings, which I curate and update every day. Underdog has an insane player pool, like fucking 3,000 people. I'm wearing headphones for no reason. And there are some nuggets all the way at the bottom, so I do the scroll for you, so you don't have to. And take it from there. Upload takes about 2 seconds. I think if you're drafting without a curated list, you're doing something wrong. You'll probably see it in real time. We'll have at least a few injured players are going to get drafted. It's just like an inevitability. You see I have the 6th spot for anybody not following on the video. I'll put this out as an audio stream. Also, check out the podcast. Tons of shit going on there. Seriously, there was just so much baseball stuff right now. You get the tiered ranks, best ball, projections, ranks, uploadable CSV. We got them for DraftKings also. Even an article comparing the different sites and how we used NFBC high-stakes pitcher ranks to find values in best ball, and then compared Underdog to DraftKings scoring to find out the difference. Check out the Substack. Immediate plus EV shit. You know what I mean? You know how we do it. The offenses pretty much overlap perfectly. So it's almost as simple as finding the difference in offensive ADP. Now, granted, the change in pitching does shift that a certain direction. I don't want to give away all the milk for free. But yeah, it matters. Then, of course, all the stats, the world-famous pitching sheets, of course. Every day, it's up before you are. Updated stats, team stats, split, lefty-righty, all the advanced stuff. X-Woba, X-Wobacon, the stuff that you're not going to be able to get. $2 a week. How much fucking time do I need to save you to make it worth $2 a week? The answer should not be much. And I encourage you to be a cheap bitch. I'm a cheap motherfucker. My mom used to say, you can't be cheap when you're poor. Yo, man, I grew up with nothing. I know what it's like to appreciate the things you have. And that doesn't even mention time. The time is the true commodity. You're going to get up and scrape this shit and fucking sort it every day. Why wouldn't you just pay some idiot like me to do that for you? You know? So I'm just basically running my draft on auto right now. I took a peek to see where we were at, but I'm going to basically auto draft. Put my money where my mouth is. I've probably got 60 some odd dingers finished already. I maxed out all the small ones. At least another dozen of the big guys in DraftKings, and I maxed out their small one also. I love me best ball. I'm busy, man, and I bet, work, have kids and a wife, and the summertime is coming. Very difficult to balance leagues. I love playing fantasy, but I want to put focus in leagues that I want to win, that have a reward that's worth playing for. I have a couple draft and holds. I did a online auction championship at NFBC. I'm going to do a main event qualifier. Then I have a high stakes home league, and that's probably all my season long stuff. And I'm in Tout Wars, for whatever that's worth. But yeah, fantasy baseball, lots of time, lots of effort. Make it worth it. We're going to be doing the show every single day. Again, if you play fantasy, because I also do waivers to subs. But you get the show every day. We cover every single game, models, daily pitcher ranks, team totals, just every fucking thing. Just every damn thing. I'm really interested in how prediction markets might change. Really kind of how I approach this thing of ours. You know, again, I'm old. My risk tolerance is not as high as it once was. Oh, I'm looking at my ranks. I forgot. I have to move Saya down a little bit. But that's okay. Coin flip I've been making all fucking year has been Pete Crow Armstrong versus Jackson Merrill. I'm going to go with Merrill this time around. Check this out. If you're on the video side. So right now I'm looking at the hitter sheet that you get when you sign up for the fantasy side. There's going to be team stuff just like this when the season happens. Now you can sort and filter all types of ways. So ADP, we mentioned Pete Crow Armstrong and Jackson Merrill. So I'm going to just put the two of them next to each other, give you an idea of how we like to sort the data and stuff. Armstrong had the ABs, right? He really put up crazy counting stats, 91 and 95 runs and ribs, 31, 35 steals. He was caught 8 times. Merrill not as strong. He had injuries. You can see the average, Merrill a little bit better, and even better with the XBA at 279, very strong. Now, Armstrong had a better slug, but Merrill had a better X slug. I'd like to then move over to disciplinary baskets. Merrill, stronger. They both chase too much. They're both probably a little bit too aggressive. Pete Crow Armstrong, more fly balls, but I'd say Merrill had the better elevation basket. Because not as many pop-ups and quite a bit more line drives. Now, Pete Crow Armstrong is the air pull god. I also don't want to go too nuts with Merrill's last year because it really did feel like a throwaway to me. And he's also still very young. And I think we got the full-on healthy season. I'm swapped back to the draft board for the audio people out there. But every once in a while, I like to show off this stuff. How quickly you can make that kind of comparison, right? That kind of like in-depth comparison in literal seconds, which is all you have when you're under the gun and you're drafting. The pressure, not quite as great in betting, though it is time sensitive. Because prices do matter. And again, that's been the claim to fame, or at least what I've been claiming as the faming for prediction markets when you're all about speed and trying to get in front of prices. Idea being just being on the right side of the movement where in years past is it better. Again, a lot of these theories apply to fantasy also. Making plus EV decisions in your life is the best thing you could learn how to fucking do. But even to just fantasy and betting. Of course, I lost my train of thought because my window got stuck. Hopefully that'll come back to me. Making good decisions matters. I guess I don't need to exactly know where I was going with that to know that we want to make solid decisions. Right, and that's always at the fore. Anyway, hopefully it'll come back to me. But I got stunned. I went to check. I actually went out of order on my auto because one of the places that you want to be thinking about that, right? breaking apart from your rankings is to stack. And because I went Merrill, I jumped Jazz Chisholm from Machado. Also, now I really do think, and you're seeing it in this league, there is a top tier of infielders that I think might get lost when people talk about the greater depth of infield, where you can wait. You can wait on infield, but I don't think you should wait all the way on infield and rely on elite output from guys at the back end. I think if you take a few guys in the front, then you could be a little more liberal in the back. Gosh, I wish I could remember what the fuck I was talking about, but when you talk as much as I do, that shit's gonna happen sometimes. So the fantasy stuff is still going strong. Let me try and get myself back on track. Again, prices are moving, and I'm kind of interested to see if and where my ranks have failed. I also wanted to make sure I didn't wind up with Zach Neto, who I love, but I think we should be moving down around the two. He was a guy I was very high on. I was probably talking about using the data to build off, your decision making and how speed matters, right? Back on track. You want to be in front of market movements, one that's always generally going to lead you in the right direction. And that's been an overarching principle in betting, that if you can capture CLV, which is closing line value, which just means being in front of the finished price, right? You bought something at 50 cents, it moves to 60 cents. You earned that gap in the middle. Now, in years prior, you were never able to physically bank that, right? That was never a thing you could physically have. Modelers and gamblers, handicappers, touts, and the like would always use CLV as a benchmark for not necessarily say success, but to grade directionality. Make sure you don't want to be breaking this thing down, especially. Now, with prediction markets, CLV is something you can have. So we're going to be changing up the schedule a little bit, and I wonder if some of my more kind of devout followers noticed there were a couple things I left out when I was talking about the in-season stuff you're going to get, and it's only because I don't want to overpromise and under-deliver on what's mattering most to me, which is these prediction markets. Last year, the betting kind of got away from me. Adding all this new content on and learning how to just deal with Substack was very difficult. Now, like many things in life, you get better at it. And I'm able to handle a lot more, right? Even if you're doing the same amount of work, if you become more efficient, you get more done. So I'm going to have to be doing some type of modeling at night. This started coming up last year, where we were trying to nail some of those early totals. Again, this is something it's purely theoretical right now, because I just got to see it happen. And what I'm talking about is, I wish I knew, maybe there would be better terms for this at some point. Being in front of a baseline total, you know what I mean? Like a line comes out and it's 8. It closes at 8.5, right? Meaning the minus 110 consensus was 8. We were over, in theory, it moves to 8.5. Now, the thing that's theoretical, obviously this is true, right? To me, that's the truest CLV. Even more so than pricing on a money line is baseline totals. When you're in front of those, which we were all the fucking time, it's like what we do. Again, I have a ton of people who are familiar with the open challenge, where if we took a bet on a total and it went the other way, first person to notice gets a gift. I never actually gave anything away. It's the reason why I'm able to do this, even after a bad betting year last year, though. I would like to clarify something. I had some fucking Momo, like, trying to attack me on betting record. But, like, I'm so transparent. You could fucking look it up. Literally search me on Twitter, my handle, with the word circuit breaker. Like, I know I'm not a fucking scammer, yo. Why do I know it's circuit breaker? Because, like stock traders, I trip circuit breaker if the losses get too great. Then I go into combine mode, right? These are all things that we talk about all the fucking time. So that somebody attacked me for being down 50 units or something. And there's no way I couldn't be down 50 units because I was tying, you should, units to percentage of stack. So if you're down 50 units, you're down 50%. And like, I would never do that to people, especially in a short period of time. Like, that just can't, that physically, like, can't happen. It could happen over a long period of time, but remember, to get to that point, you'd have to hit 15% to hit the circuit breaker off. Combine mode, for anybody unaware, that's how we do it a lot differently than everybody else dropping these fucking bombs, know what I'm saying? Is you don't need to stop betting if you are losing. I know that sounds counterintuitive. You need to stop losing money. Right? That sounds even worse. What the fuck? Yes, of course, we all want to stop losing money. But I mean, actual physical fucking cash, right? So you could be betting on paper. We call it paper trading, right? Mark your bet and when you made it, what the price was, what the potential profit and loss would have been. And then grading them the way you would anything else. Now, again, it sucks if you make money, I guess, and you don't actually get to keep it, right? That's the first thing that people usually come back at me with. Well, I'm due, and I'm going to hit, and there's my money. That's not the point. The point is you want to be consistently profitable. So put yourself in the combine mode, paper trade, save a deposit, show yourself that you can make money depending on the sport and how often you gamble, what kind of volume you use, but at least 10 days or 14 days of profit. Plus, it'll give you a break. It'll really help you audit your process. Very hard to do that while you're live betting. Again, just lessons and shit pouring out your fucking nose holes. Just how it is with us. You know, it's how we do. Once you show you're profitable after 2 weeks, then you go back live into the market. What usually happens more than not with newbies in particular, or novices, not to make fun of anybody. I was that once also. I have gotten a message from people. Dude! You know, it's always something with exclamation points. Dude! I just failed 9 combines. You're like, well, why? Right? Why would you be excited about that? Because that's 9 deposits for somebody. That's a lesson, man. That's a real fucking lesson. Balled up and kind of smushed in your face. So that person, when you start to see the deposits go, that's the same as making that money, right? Instead of depositing it. That'll really help you refine your process. Anyway, back to plus EV decisions. Though prediction markets now actually offer the ability to cash these things. So back to that example where you're a line, you know, you're in front of the total. How much is that worth? I actually don't know the answer. I don't know the answer. You'd have to think. It's got to be fucking 10%. It's got to be. It might be more. Now, I didn't want to put definitive stuff out there because I'm curious. It also depends on if there are bids or not. People fucking around with prediction markets and Survivor were asking me about that. If the odds have changed, why hasn't it reflected in the return? And it has to do with a lack of volume and a bid. Right? There aren't enough existing bids. Not to get too complicated. Nobody wants the shit. Even though technically the price is there, it's not quite that price, right? It's only bid price is really the real price. Anyway, we're going to spin off into the rails about trading and understanding the shit. But again, hang out with us long enough, you get an outside understanding, and then you build off that. And I think then your learning starts to bleed into real life, which matters, right? Being smart matters. So I guess just to put a bow in it, I'm going to be doing more modeling work at night, which is a fucking pain in the ass because not all the lines are out. Things are going to change. Pitchers are going to get fucking scratched. Games are going to get bumped and stuff. Guys are going to get hurt at night. Like it's awful. But we're going to have to do it and then re-rack it in the morning. With the idea being, compounding a few percentage points. Shit, I don't have it handy, but I'm going to make it worth it. So let me just chat GPT this real quick. So something like 3%. It doesn't sound like a lot. You're betting $100. Most people are looking to make $100 on that $100. But for me, this is why I was good at gambling on sports when I had an edge, right? I guess that makes sense. But I developed it, so I earned it, but I also lost it. Not to say because I opened my mouth about it, but things evolve. That's a problem with trying to be an edge better is they don't fucking last. You know what I'm saying? It sucks. The Terminators, right, that you're up against are going to fucking improve. So edge disappears and it makes straight betting, really fucking hard. But if you're betting and consistently in front of games, right? And let's say now you're taking on again a trading mindset opposed to a gambling mindset where a gambler, and there's a reason why, right? There is an actual reason. The reason why 99% of bettors fail is because their expectations are fucking shot. They're stupid. You can't successfully trade with $100 hoping to make $100 back when it's binary and you lose. So one loss and you're fucking out. And that number, I know somebody's wrong there. I was $100. That's why I wanted to use it as an example. Hold on, we're on deck. Let me make that pick. And I want to do a little fucking around with ChatGPT and the power of compounding. Oh, nice. Also, like it when you're outfielder falls. Oh, but so did Yuri. Oh, I'm torn right here. A lot of my favorite guys in this 110 thing. Now I really like Rafaela. I also like Yuri Perez. I'm going to load into my pitching as we wrap up the dinger because I've been punting it for so fucking long. I want a nice balance. Not that I don't have enough Yuri Perez, but I have a lot of late pitching builds, and you got to be careful duping your own stuff, So back into expectations, right, and compounding. So the reason the trader can succeed with a bettor cannot is because the trader bets $100 hoping to make $1 or $2 back or $3 back. But 3% on a trade is fucking awesome. And when you get to 4, 5, 6, 7, you're fucking incredible. Which is why when I was able to trade as a successful straight bettor, I was aiming for 4, 5, 6%. But right now I could get 4.25 from the fucking money market without risking, and I could just sit around and jerk off my fucking underwear. So again, these are the real lessons that nobody in sports betting is talking about because they're mostly fucking scammers or they're fucking stupid, can't succeed on their own or are really not able to teach, and it's possible they don't even know about this stuff or kind of understand the stuff that we're talking about, the underpinning math. That's the reason why not say I wanted out of betting, but here I am providing content as the markets are changing and the return on is coming in. I'm here to make money. So I had all my money in a money market making the same 4%. Why would I grind my cock to a fucking nub when you could lose anyway? Yeah, straight bettors is someone out there saying, I'm going to make 8%. I'm going to make 10%. ROI on straight betting is very, 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 keep going with the varies, fucking difficult, all right? And I'd rather take 4.25 risk-free, shave a little bit of that out and try and break the fucking sports book on lotto shit, if I'm going to sports bet. Now, trading is a little bit different because it opens the pathway to more realistic expectations on a certain trade. Of course, I talked until the fucking next move here. Let's see. You're gonna snipe me on fucking Grisham, Broham? Nope, he went Ozuna. I'm gonna go Grisham. People not into Grisham. There used to be a Yankee tax. There was once a time where a Yankee leadoff hitter with 35 home runs would not last to where he fucking does. So, okay, back on track with this. So start with $100, compound 3% daily for 100 days. Now, can we consistently make 3% every day? I don't want to be arrogant because I think so. We're going to get a chance to find out, and we don't have to go all or none. That's the beauty of this. This is why I am really still a successful trader, where I haven't really been a successful high-level sports bettor, or at least as of late. You know, again, people talk about like, are you or are you not, as if it's fucking binary. I guess if I am or not, I would take I am, but you got to be realistic and understanding how difficult this stuff is. And then again, once I see the potential to not say get paid off my work, but to get paid off our fucking style, you know, to get paid off a different style without the aggravation. So there's a chance that you can make all the money you ever fucking dreamed of, starting with very little, without ever betting on a single fucking game. And to me, that's kind of fucking crazy, you know what I'm saying? So, ChatGPT, if you started with $100 and compounded 3% every day for 100 days, you're over $1,900. I mean, in 100 days, just slow building. Yes, it's funny because if you already understand the stuff I'm talking about, you're like, eyes are bugging out of your head going, who the fuck is making 3% every day? I honestly think we can do this. We're going to find out, and we're probably going to find out soon. But this isn't necessarily a new venture for us. Our entire fucking mantra has always been to be in front of the markets, meaning we're not changing anything we have to do. I'm already understand all the machinations of trading, so that part I already had in the back pocket. This should be a set it and forget it operation. I hope I'm not putting that fucking like on myself. But this isn't arrogance. We're being realistic. We're talking about, you know, real numbers. Now, it's funny, what answer that I don't know, which is kind of fucking embarrassing, is... And I should give myself the out, because I could have got the answer and made myself look smart. But I'm like, not only am I not smart enough to think of that, I'm like probably a little too honest. And I was curious if you double the amount if the total comes out equal. It's just so stupid. I think about it, like, obviously. So, okay. We were talking about $100. Now, you know me out there, my newbies, my novices, my regular Joes know me. I don't do the fucking unit shaming. I don't make fun of people or look down my nose. Because, one, I've been there starting from scratch. Two, I swear, these same sports bettors, right, that never heard of money market, APY, or anything like that, did they not understand the idea of liquidity? And like there are other, that's what I think, they never understood diversity or are not diverse. So there are times where my money is tied up in like real estate or small businesses or large stock trades. You know, other things besides like if the fucking Rays are going to win. You know, there's other parts of life. You know, I'm moving in and out of other markets, and sometimes that's where your cash is. And in particular, something like trading, you generally have to use bigger amounts of money because you're looking for smaller daily returns. If those markets go the wrong way, and not to spiral out of control, because again, I always have stop losses, the timing may just take longer, and you can't, you know, you told yourself, I was in this until we get stopped out. So to me, it's not a loss until we get stopped out. Reversals happen all the fucking time. They're a natural part of the market. But I can't cash out what's down. And there's sometimes I'm not even going to cash out what's up. I want to finish the fucking move. If the move I was looking for is en route, I want it to fucking mature. So again, not to just crush all the fucking the fakes and idiots fucking out there. I managed to make it to the 10th round or whatever it is, 13th round of this draft without melting down and going on a fucking rant where I have to, take the stream down. But stuff fucking happens. So, like I mentioned, I don't unit chain people because I built from the beginning. I also grew up very poor and come from nothing. If you're looking to make, not just like make significant money. Well, if you want to make money, it takes money to make money, which is very true. Mind you, it is very true. You're going to be putting in a lot of time, right? Here's that time thing again. So the thing that you're putting a lot of time into, you're investing your time into, you want to invest your money in also. So save. And the right word, again, is capitalize. Something you never hear, again, the fake phonies talk about. Capitalization, how important it is. That's why you will hear people talk about, you need a risk plan. You never actually hear the fucking plan, though, right? They never actually talk about the plan or enact the plan. What happens when things go south or sour? Nobody talks about that. Most people's plan when things go bad is to fucking take it off your bio and erase it and remove the shit from the fucking thing or go into hiding or something like that. It's just crazy. You know what I'm saying? Where, like, I lost last year. I hit the circuit breaker. Now, I know I did have to take one honest L, but what the fuck am I going to do that was like, oh, you're still putting out picks? I literally had to embarrass myself with entertainment purposes only, right? Like, how embarrassing is that? But people want my fucking plays. You know what I'm saying? Like, if I'm like, no, there's not official, I think we need to be on the combine, this, that. I actually have, believe it or not, responsible people who bet, again, responsibly and do it for fun. And I'm like, dude, who the fuck do we like? And I don't give a shit. They're like, you're a smart guy, you're a winning bettor, you understand the process, you put me in a good spot to win, you're not going to mislead, right? Now, that is true. I'll take that gold star on my fat fucking nose. But anyway, we want to be thinking in terms of compounding this year. And there is massive fucking profit potential here. I mean, just massive. You get your ass up to $1,500. We make that 3%. You're talking about fucking almost $30K. And I don't want to put the cart in front of the horse. I'm not going to sell snake oil. We have to be grounded. You got to be realistic. But this is what taking on a very exciting business venture feels like. Right, you've done the math, you've done the work, you saved the money, you're ready to go. So like I'm fucking hard, I'm ready to fuck, I'm saying? I'm ready. Now, what if these market moves, we get in front of the total and it's double-digit percentage points? I mean, again, we do this all the fucking time. And if you followed any of my work, my guy Kyle, make sure you're following Kyle Kerms. Man, I hope I'm back with him this year. I love Kyle. Really, one of us. He gets his stamp of approval. That's our whole fucking thing, you know what I mean? Was being in front of the market. Kyle, because he does a midnight live stream, they're feasting on those fucking late lines. And it's out there for all of us. So, like, again, I am just, like, outside of myself, excited to get into prediction markets and, took the chance here to explain a little bit. Didn't really talk much fantasy or best ball. Let's do that now. So that's how we're going to make, lots and lots of fucking money on prediction markets. And hopefully I convince you I'm fucking sharp enough to hit your wagon to for just $2 a week. So on to baseball again. It's my best ball shit is just fucking running on its own right now. Let's check how the draft is going for me. I've got 5 pitchers, 3 infielders, and 6 outfielders through 14, which I love, right? We always want to be done with our outfielders early. They do dry up. There's very few late options. There's a couple of fun late stabs. You would take a whack at Cam Smith or something like that. He could do some work for you. I know people with Brave stuff, maybe like Yastrzemski. A little bit of something out there. It's not great, though. I like to have it wrapped up early because the 1v1s, the opportunity cost, I think totally validates all of it. However, right, the thing that I think I've moved to the fore of my own personal best ball understanding this season has been making sure there's elite options at all the positions. I've been the person, part of that, the outfield first crowd. Holy crap, Sal Perez just went in the 14th round. It's funny, we're seeing prices start to swing. Like, I wonder if it's a newbie thing, novices, or just people abusing fucking ranked. But so that's something I've done because I fell into that OF, and it killed me. Properly understanding that outfielders are scarce and need to be prioritized, right? Properly understanding, but improperly executing and taking 5 or 6 outfielders out of the box all the time. The auto draft was set that way, so that's all I was getting. And I think on some of them, I even went back for a 7th. And that's a mistake. If you come out with 5 outfielders in a row, that's the max, I think, you should cut it at 5. And then, right, so use that prioritization to your advantage by lessening the amount that you need. I think that's the only excuse for it. Other than that, balance, man. I wasn't balancing enough. I mentioned infield and how I got bit, and it was as simple as that. I perceived outfielders to be at a value. I was correct. I said, hey, there's just physically more infielders, so there'll be more starters available late. I was correct. But I waited until the very end to just grab guys. And while they're all viable plays, they weren't able to keep up with the 3-man pairs that you're up against, right? So you're only starting, you're starting 3 infielders, 3 outfielders. There is 1 flex, but even if you call it 3.5. In this draft right here, Team 5 started Witt and Gunnar Henderson. Then he gets the option, right? Your assumption is those guys are scoring for you almost every week, and then you get to rotate through your other people. But there's talking through it, verbalizing why too many of a good thing is no good, because they can't physically score for you. So you could still easily get me, even after all the shit I just talked about outfielders, you could still get me to 4 outfielders in a row. Then 2 things. I'm not taking another one for a while. I am not taking more than 6, depending on how long I wait. Way too many drafts, far too many drafts that I spent going 4, 5, and 6 outfielders automatically. Not even looking at what was on the board, and that's another mistake. Did anyone drop? And now that I also feel that, okay, balance is important, but it's not balance for the sake of balance. It's balance to try and hit on the elite players at the top. You're going to have a tough time, and I'm going to use some of the guys going in the rounds here that are up on the screen. You're going to have a tough time catching up with Bobby Witt and Gunnar Henderson if you have, Ezekiel Tovar and Luke Keeschel. They could be good, and they even could be really good. Are you going to get monster outputs on par with legit first round, top 10 overall bats? Probably not. Let's be honest, probably not. So you shouldn't build your offense around those guys, because if probably you need elite scores every single week, and the answer that whether or not you're going to get them is probably not. That's not a great thing. So give yourself the high probability option of shrinking down the amount of, bubble scores you're going to need. I didn't do a great job of that. You can also twist my arm where the gap in pitching, someone I have a ton of respect for, he doesn't know who the fuck I am, but Adam Scher he's with one of the Sims guys, I think now, but he was with Awesome. That's how far back I go in Sarcastic when he was still with them. Adam loves like flag planted. I mean, that's kind of his shtick. But he's a really smart guy. It's not out of nowhere, obviously. He's projection based and fucking really smart. Ball nowhere, the whole line. He loves the fucking aces. I mean, he loves him so much, he's making me fucking second guess, man. Loves. And a few of the other people that we respect in the space came up. Some of the Bansboro guys, our guy Sheep and everything, in that kind of sphere, saying like, wow, that's not something that's worked. And, these are cool guys, so they're not like, oh, they're stupid. But the way Adam frames it, he invites some of that stuff. But again, all's fair in love in Twitter. A point being, there is a debate going on about the tippy top elite starters. I was kind of on the other side. Now, I'm not flag planted. I'm fading Schoolable, Skeens, and Crochet. My problem was when I was doing projections, they were coming out very close to pitchers that, right, I mentioned doing NFBC ranks, using it to compare. Pitchers that are going along with the aces in NFBC. So the high stakes crowd is putting them on par with these guys that are going, late. I drafted Chris Sale in the 6th. That's pick 67. I guess let's stay with that. So that's the infielders there are Perdomo and Bregman. Or up top, you get one of the true aces. Again, true ace. Could have gotten Skeens. But the infield is Gunnar Henderson. So I'd rather have this. I'm oversimplifying, but this is how I feel. I'd rather have Gunnar Henderson and Chris Sale than Paul Skeens and Alex Bregman or Perdomo. Because I see Sale as more of an elite option, and Gunnar is definitely an elite option. And that's not been the view of certain people. There's also no whip penalty in Underdog, and I think that's why that happened. Conversely, in DK, where there is or are penalties for base runners, I find you want more of the elite options because I think there is more separation. And I'm kind of front-loading pitchers. But, I mean, we'll see. Again, I don't, all respect to him. I think he's wrong. I disagree with him. But we'll see. I think the opportunity cost and you know what, hold on, let me make this pick and I want to finish up. Because it's not just the opportunity cost of an ace necessarily. It's that he's going with multiple aces. So if you pitch it to me, John, I think it's smart to take one ace. Remember, now we're always thinking downrange. Again, nuance and context that pours out your nose. Always downrange, right? Like the rippling effects. I think that you should take one of the elite aces because it narrows that need for pop, breakout weeks, more reliable from a top player. And you could shave one pitcher off, meaning if you take one of the Scooble, Schemes, Crochet, you shouldn't be going to 7 pitchers. Those guys break. You're probably fucked anyway. Plus, again, the opportunity cost, you should be spending that draft capital on the bat that you gave up on. You win that argument. I'll concede that totally. However, Adam's been doing like double ace plus like Hunter Green. And I'm not going to kill him for that. I like Green also. I thought Green was a fantastic pick. I thought Green was luckily, I had Green as the second best pick as far as pitchers go. Luckily, I had Chris Sale. So you had a pick for them a lot of the times between each other, and I almost always went Sale. I had some Green, but I'm very fortunate. Not as much as Adam. But it wasn't the point on the green thing at all. That was not the point. The point was the dipping back into the pool after you already had the Elite Eight. So, clip this and we'll see if I'm wrong. And I absolutely could be. And if I don't win, I hope Adam does. You know what I mean? Like, I'm not a fucking hater. I'm just, again, I'm failing to see it because of the, opportunity costs. What's available, what you're giving up, and just the player pool in general. So I feel like I put this in action here. Right? I made sure I got Machado and Jazz Chisholm. So you have two, really strong bats, top third, strong lineups, great projections. Then I have Goodman, Okamoto. Okamoto fell like 20-something picks past ADP. Max Muncy on the Dodgers. And Ivan Herrera. Again, he's a really good hitter. He's healthy and he's really good. I'm going to try and pair him with Weatherholt. Funny, I meant to mention that was one of the things I had trouble with last year was stacking Cardinals. They were all available and they kind of stunk like Mason Wynn and Brendan Donovan. Again, Donovan, you really want a little bit more pop to try and capture spike weeks. Now, Donovan, it projects really well, but it's more flat. However, if he's going to lead off and Seattle is good, he could be awesome. I'm mentioning him because I bypassed Donovan just now for Herrera. I need to make one more pick and decide if I want to pair with Weatherholt. I'm going to be honest. I've been trying to get Andrew Vaughn in. I love Vaughn. I'm a fucking total mark for former first rounders. And he made the move to a better lineup in a better ballpark, and he broke out, and no one seems to give a fuck, and he's having a monster spring. And they're talking about like how great his defense is, and they let Rhys Hoskins go. I'm really buying into Andrew Vaughn, and no one gives a flying fuck about this guy. So, like, there's a perfect example of, yes, there are infielders that could, pop and be really great, that no one cares about. Andrew Vaughn is undrafted. I wouldn't be surprised if, like, I've done the only drafting of Andrew Vaughn. Like, I'm the reason Andrew Vaughn has a ADP. He's a potential absolute breakout candidate. Like, he could be a first rounder when we're all said and done. It's really something how we take these guys. He's only 27. He's a former third overall pick. He was never quite terrible. Struggled to put it together a little bit, but the disciplinary stuff was always good. Right? He was never wild with chasing. That was one of the things he cleaned up. We love to see that. He never was a big strikeout guy. The chases were an issue with 2 strikes. He cleaned that up. The power was always solid. He puts up the career best barrel rate. And there's a ton to like about Andrew Vaughn. And, there's the unique element, something I hadn't mentioned, that we want guys when we get to the playoffs that no one else has. Everyone is going to have certain players. How do I put this? The superstars that got you to the finish line got other people to the finish line. So it's going to be the correlations, the stacking, the late rounders that win it for you. How unique you are, right? We didn't mention being unique, and it matters. So that's been part of, I'm not going to give the names, you got to pay for that shit. But that's been my move this season with pitchers. I don't want to say I know I am. I really think I'm very good at pitching analysis. It's always been a strength of mine. I mean, I get paid for it and won awards writing about it like anybody gives a fuck. But I'm just saying, oh my God, when you mention your own award, I'm sorry, I had to fucking know it. I have a shit ton of fucking pitchers that I like that either go undrafted or mostly go undrafted or most of the time undrafted that I think I could do an entire rotation. That's the fool's gold, though. to make your entire rotation out of it. That's also something I did last year. What was the problem? Yeah, I hit on a bunch of breakouts last year, but I built my entire rotation out of them as other people had crochet and scuba, and they're, automatically going fucking crazy. So again, balance, fill the bins, then build it forward. And I think that's a really great way to be. Let's flip around the tools for a little bit before we get out of here. I've got it up now, just to give you an idea of all the stuff that you get. You can see the tiered ranks. Hold on, I got to pop over there to show you that. Just really quick, you can go and use the filters. So that was quick, right? Click on the filter button, clear everything, hit the blank so you can see because you want to see the tiers. And you can see, right, there are all the first basemen. I put in all the first basemen with their overall rank and where they kind of fall, right? You could see that. So you could, clear, blank, and shortstop, select all. Okay, again, everything that I build takes seconds to scan around. So there's a look at using the tiered ranks. I think they're really helpful. Any of the audio listeners that may be paid subs, check out the video and see. Sometimes I do put directions, but sometimes seeing it matters. It's the fucking easiest shit. The cheat sheet is up. That went out today. Your best ball ranks. There's your underdog. Again, I have site projections. ADP next to our ranks. You can see where maybe we differ. I'm going to move Seiya. You also get DraftKings rankings. I do all the site adjusted stuff. It's not just copy and pasted. There are differences, and we're accounting for them. Then, of course, you saw the hitter sheets. This is a good look at the stuff you get in season. Totals, averages, disciplinary basket, elevation, pull, air pull, hard hit stuff, totals, projections, splits, fucking everything. Same for pitchers. Plus you get my custom earn run indicator, which tested out better than expected ERA and Sierra last year. Go me. Oh, fucking hells yeah. I've been working really, really hard. And now that I've got Claude, I've really got a leg up getting some of my thoughts across the finish line that I was never able to quite do without always having to pay and then wait and everything. Same idea for the pitching side. Totals, indicators, my custom stuff. Fastball grades, use and speed. Disciplinary approach. Down, again, remember, ball rate more important than walk rate. Another one, I've had people say, dude, I just subscribed for the fucking ball rate. Yeah, no shit. If you use any of these fucking stats, it's fucking worth it to not have to go do it on your own. It's a fucking pain in the cock. Elevation, power stuff, totals. Come season, we'll have all the prop stuff, outs per game, strikeouts per game, walks per game. Of course, that shit matters. And then your splits, every fucking thing you could think of. I got risers and fallers. Those are happening in real time. Plus, you get the lineup tool. Every team, all year, you could just kind of scroll left to right. You could see lefties versus righties. Were they on the IL? Where did they bat? Did they sit against who? And fucking why? So really just trying to do all the things. The IL lists, every pitcher IL stint that's happened over the last 2 years, plus bullpen stats, the team stuff. It's really just a fucking metric ton. So thanks so much for picking up what I'm putting down here at Corked Stats as we make our way to the 2026 season. Be a pal. Support good people doing good work. Don't be a cheap fucking bitch your entire life, man. And it's not just a joke on the side. Save yourself that time. That is what matters. That is true value. I know everyone is selling ideas and picks, and I actually think we're going to make money doing the prediction market shit. But for me, it's important to know that the second you sign up, the value is taken care of for. All the work is done. There is no way, if you even fuck with this shit once a week on Sundays, that it's not worth all the data, information, plus the access to the show and me, where, again, we're not just learning, which we are, but we're having fucking fun doing it. So enjoy the games, enjoy the day. When we're done with the book, enjoy the pay. And remember, when you work this fucking hard, man, the winning feels a lot less like luck. Please like and retweet, because X hates